Yeah.
Episode 870. Oh, we're in December now, Sarah. Okay, we're wrapping up the year.
I love it. Wow, did this year fly by or what?
I don't like it.
I mean, it was insane.
I mean, a lot happened. I chopped my finger off. You lost so many bodily organs.
7% of them.
And a boyfriend.
Yeah, but I gained a whole bunch.
Yeah, you did. Yeah. You have, you started water polo.
Yes.
Then you injured your finger. I mean, it's like a soap opera.
It really is a soap opera over here, you know, but that it keeps things interesting. And I think if you, just like a soap opera, well, maybe not like a soap opera, like, I don't know, a fairy tale in a way. There are highs and lows, but it ends very, like, happily ever after. And I feel like I am in the happily ever after part.
Good Lord,
like
what?
I just feel like I'm crushing life right now. I feel like I'm doing here's what I decided to do, Suze. This is what I've done in the past 6 months. I have said to myself, everything that I used to rely on a partner for, I'm going to just do myself.
Okay.
This was like a living situation. And I mean,
yeah,
I will say I was like in a position to be able to do this because of hard work and stuff. But yeah, I mean, it was like the truck that allowed me to go to cool places and go camping that I was like, ooh, I want to date somebody who has a cool car. Fuck that.
Interesting.
I want to be the person with the cool car. I want to date somebody who the last one, this is a silly one, but it like meant a lot to me. I've always been like, oh, I want a partner who's going to like record, like videotape me when like I go snowboard or
you've
whatever.
Talked about
like,
that for a long
you know,
time. Yeah.
I was like, you could do that. So I bought one of those cool Insta360 cameras with the invisible selfie stick that you can like record so it looks like you're like,
yeah,
you know what I mean? And I was just like, Sarah, just pull the fucking trigger. Buy this for yourself. This is like, you don't have to rely on a person. Now you can do it.
Wow.
So now I'll take the cool video.
We will not miss one run. Is that what they call them?
You will not. And so many other cool, fun things and adventures. And it's like, so, you know, and I just was like, okay, anything that I've relied on a partner for, so many stuff, even cooking, I'm like, I'm going to make the most awesome food that is really great. And I just like threw down in the kitchen last night and I made, no joke,
20.
You
were on Chopped?
Yeah, I made 20 burritos. 10 of each kind that I am then freezing and wrapping up to put in my refrigerator so that when I come home from snowboarding or come home from where camping or whatever, I have, or the gym or a nice hike, I have like, you know, I just like.
I had no idea that like freezing burritos would be a part of your evolution story.
It just makes it, I know that sounds silly, but it's
no,
like,
I get it.
It is this feeling of like.
I don't need no stinking man.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is very empowering in a way. So that's why it's like happily ever after because I am period. Yes. Period with the T. Yep.
Totally. I'm so happy for you. What a difference a year makes. Good
what
grief.
A difference. I'm telling you, we got that endometriosis shit out of there. Get that out. That was weighing me down, man.
Yeah.
I am free. It's and shout out to pelvic floor therapy, man. I am doing that. That is like.
Okay, we have an editor, Andrea, who remember when she said she was making a supercut of all the times I said bozo? We need a supercut of all of your shout-outs. Shout out to, what did you just say?
My pelvic floor physical therapist.
Exercises,
my pelvic floor physical therapist. Yeah.
Like, that is someone who's never been shouted out on any
Her name's Sam.
show.
She's the fucking best. I mean, Susie, help me out, though. Are we actually friends, or is she just a woman whose hand has been inside my vagina for many hours?
Right. It's like transfer of arousal.
Right? Like, I mean, I'm not. I'm like, it is not.
No, but
aroused,
it's like
but it's
arousable can mean
close,
like
state
trauma too. You know, it's like you're in a car accident.
Right. We're talking like
your recovery has had some low lows. Let's be honest.
So I like in my mind, I'm like, oh, we are best friends. Like after this or whatever.
Do you think she feels that towards you?
I think so, but I mean,
what if you asked her? Like, what if you said, "Do you think we should be friends in IRL?"
Right, that's a good way to do it. I'm like, and we give each other relationship advice, and we're always like, we're totally like in sync on all of our beliefs and everything. We talk about the election. We're like. I think we're supposed to be friends.
I think there's some potential.
And you know how I
here.
named every single one of my cats Sam? Well, she's a Sam. And I'm like, every time I meet a Sam, I'm like, I think I'm supposed to be friends with you. Because they're always cool. And I'm like, every cat I ever had was named Sam. So it feels like if I meet a Sam, I'm like, oh, that's just like I collect those.
First of all, I didn't know that.
Oh, what? I've done.
What? I didn't even know you've had cats, if I'm honest.
Oh, yeah. They all died from... not natural cause. They were all eaten by coyotes. I lived in a place like
that part. I knew there was death and destruction with all your pets. Yeah. I guess I blocked out the cats. How many are we talking here?
Oh, like 6. And they were all named Sam. Every single one. I'd get a new one. Sam. Every single cat I named Sam. Yes. And my brother was like, why don't you stop naming cats Sam and then maybe they'll stay alive?
For real? You didn't think it was some sort of jinx?
I did after number 6 or 7. After the one that the neighbors brought over in a box because their dog killed it.
Oh my God.
It was very traumatic. My cat was walking across the fence and the dog was this big, huge dog and just wanted to play and smacked the dog in the back and bent the cat in half.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
This is ringing a bell.
Yeah, right? Yeah.
I did block it out.
You blocked it out because it's awful.
Why just cats named Sam, though? Because the dogs weren't named Sam.
No, because the dogs were more like the family dog, and...
The cats were for you?
The cats were like my cat.
Why did you abandon cats?
I mean, the last cat I had was Milo, and I had... Oh, this is going to be sad. I had to say goodbye to Milo, and I had to take him to the San Francisco SPCA because I left for the real world.
And then what? He died?
No, I gave him up for a place that was a no-kill shelter. He was hopefully adopted.
It's just sad that you had to...
It's sad that I had to surrender an animal in order to go on the fucking real world, but I couldn't find anybody to watch this cat for however long.
Yeah.
I'm
so sorry.
The
I
real
hope
world
Milo
or something.
rebounded
it was really
from that.
Yeah, but that cat was crazy.
I'll tell you what else is crazy, and that is using any other cookware and bakeware besides Caraway.
Thank you, Caraway. That's how I cook. I slow cooked I made carnitas. I made pork carnitas and I slow cooked a whole pork shoulder in that Dutch oven, and it was great.
Ooh.
Yes, Suze, you would have been very proud.
What's the pork going in?
The pork, what do you mean? The tacos, the burritos.
Okay.
I slow cooked it. I did a rub on it, slow cooked it in my Dutch oven. Delicious. Then broke it all up, put it all back in its juices, cooked that, then took it and put it out on the pan and put it in the broiler and got it all crispy.
Oh, yeah.
Right? And then
God, Sarah.
I was throwing down.
I'm supposed to be doing this, my job right now, but I have to mention that Sarah confessed in our live last week that, because I was ranting and raving about how Worst Cooks in America only casts men from the challenge. Mark Long, Johnny Bananas, Wes. There was a fourth one. I can't remember. And then she sheepishly admitted that they had come to her years ago asking her if she would be on, and she refused because she said she's not a worst cook.
Well, I didn't refuse. I just said, do I have to be a bad cook? Because, I'm not. And
She still thinks reality TV is truthful.
Silly me.
Bless her heart.
Bless my heart. Yes.
Anyway, Caraway is doing some heavy lifting for her, regardless of her skills. Oh. Because
and that pan cleaned like it wiped.
No problem.
No problem.
I know.
My cleanup was so easy, and that's important when I use every single pan.
It is important, and it probably is because they are nonstick, yet somehow non-toxic. We don't know how they do that. We don't care. All we care about is that they work, and they are cute as heck. Yes. And you can pick whatever color you want, and they are adorable. The holidays are closer than ever, so make sure you order by December 16th to get their gift or yours underneath the tree in time. Visit carawayhome.com/braincandy to take advantage of this limited time offer for up to 20% off your next purchase. Again, that's carawayhome.com/braincandy to get new kitchenware before the holidays. Caraway, non-toxic cookware made modern. Because what a company, what a product. We love them with all our heart.
Yes.
Okay. Sam's are always cool. That's like the last note on my notes.
Yeah.
Sam's are always cool.
Yeah, they are.
All right. Let's get into it. I have so much to say.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Yeah.
I don't know how I'm going to get to everything.
Me too. I feel that I'm like that today too.
Right?
Yeah. We're like extra chatty.
All right.
Oh, this is very good since we host a podcast.
Well, you know how I've gotten into the 30 for 30 shorts?
Yes.
So these are the shorter versions of 30 for 30, which are just great for maybe a little something when you don't have a lot of time. And I watched two that I felt like spoke to each other and I wanted to share. And they both touched upon the idea of like gay athletes.
Oh, cool.
Which, frankly, we do not hear enough about, probably because a lot of them have to be, especially men, of course.
Yes.
They have to be closeted, especially in the past, but even still today.
Yeah.
The first one, do you remember on this show when we talked about the invention of the high five?
Yes.
Years ago.
Yes. Yeah. Baseball players?
Baseball players.
Yes. Well, and then like the idea that was invented once is just crazy.
For real, Sarah, because like when they're describing it in this documentary, you just think like, what do you mean?
Right. It just always existed. Like thumbs up, but all these are that it wasn't. It's crazy.
It feels so a part of our collective culture and identity that you can't imagine a time when people were not high-fiving.
And it obviously didn't exist before that because we would have somehow picked it up in some, but it really was the invention not even that long ago. What else are we going to invent?
Okay, yeah. And this is, right. There's going to be something that comes in the future that will feel that way, but who knows what it will be.
Yeah.
And this was happening in 1977. This guy called Glenn Burke was a baseball player that ran onto the field. He was congratulating his Dodgers teammate, Dusty Baker, because Dusty had hit a 30th home run of the season, and there were 4 other players. I forget the name of it. It was like some funny name that they had for like if 5 players on the team hit 30. They come up with dumb stuff, right. But it was a big deal. Okay, he hit 30. So Glenn Burke runs onto the field, and he's running towards him, and he puts his arm up, and then instinctively the other guy high-fives him, even though that wasn't a thing, evidently. And then it became this phenomenon, and it became how we all celebrate and show solidarity and whatever. Like, I need to tell you, right?
That nobody before put a hand up and thought,
we should smack it.
It's like, I don't know what else you would do with somebody's hand up.
Yeah, because maybe you just thought, like, they were saying, like, great. Right. But there was no, like, reciprocal action that was supposed to happen.
I know we're, like, not talking about handshakes, but, like, there's more to the story than this, but I'm thinking it had to be related to like hygiene or something like that, or germs, or like us like not doing that, and until like handshakes and those kind of things only really coming about after
maybe
you know,
like once we had like more soap available and stuff.
People, for real, it's like a lot of other cultures like don't shake hands.
Yeah, maybe.
So that's my theory.
Well, I'm glad that they had soap and they overcame that. And so then I'm like, okay, that's so cute and I love this. It's great. But then it moved into this thing about how then Glenn Burke was transferred away from the Dodgers despite his amazing talent and success on the team. And there was like some debate among the people talking in the documentary about why he was transferred and why he moved away from the Dodgers. And the guys on the team all were like, no matter what anybody tells you, he was transferred because he was gay. And he was open about being gay. And it basically ended his career. And
so did they transfer him as like a punishment, or did they say, we don't allow anybody...
No, they pretended like it was about skill or it's just like business stuff. Oh, yeah, we need this other player, so we got to get rid of you kind of thing.
But the transfer everybody came with like some sort of like less pay or didn't get to play, or it was like a downgrade.
Hurtful. Yeah, because he was performing well and that he was a part of this collective group. They were trying to emphasize how back then baseball was not individualistic. It was not like about your stats. It was about the team.
Yeah.
It's moved away more recently, I guess. But back then it was like, we're a team forever.
I think it's because all the trades that it feels like that.
Right. Which are about money and weird gay shit, apparently.
Right. Because sometimes when I think I don't know a ton about sports, but when I hear that person got traded, it sometimes is a positive thing. Like it's like, oh, they got traded and they're going to get better pay. But this is like the opposite.
Yeah, this felt like the opposite. Even if he was traded for like legitimate reasons, the perception on the team was this guy's gay.
Yeah.
And he's open about it, and the management doesn't like it.
Right.
So anyway, it basically ended his career. And I'd say tip of the hat to him for being so open about it, because in the 70s to be like open about that, I can't even imagine what that would have been like. But anyway, he died of AIDS in 1995 and was still very young. And
God, that feels like yesterday, but this story sounds like something archaic.
Right.
And,
Yeah.
It is wild to me that in practically your lifetime.
Right. Yeah.
Weren't you born in 78?
79, yeah.
79. Okay.
Yeah.
That's
so
like
just before the high five was just after the high five was invented.
It's like this was still happening, and it's like that's wild to me.
Yeah. So but what I liked about it was his teammates didn't give a crap that he was gay, number one.
Good.
And were insistent that he was the creator of the high five, not Dusty, cute. That was the batter. He was like, that people attribute it to me. It wasn't me. It was Glenn. He's amazing, and he created the high five. And so don't forget it.
See, if it's something that happens in pop culture, it's always going to be a gay person or a person of color.
Right?
We could just like it,
or both in this case.
Yes. Oh,
yeah.
Okay. There you go.
Yeah.
I didn't even know he was a black man.
Yeah, and
that makes it even more difficult.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
Yeah. So he's cool. I loved that. But then I watched also the 30 for 30 short about Greg Louganis, the diver.
Yes.
Are you familiar?
Yes, I sure am.
Yes. Well, obviously you've seen when his head hit the diving board
Susie,
in the Olympics.
I was on a dive team when I was 13 years old, and anything in a quote, you like try out everything, and it was so fun. But I was on the dive team, and they had us watch that scene over and over and over. I still don't know why. Like I don't know why. I mean, I really saw that like 12 times and
you felt like, why the heck why are they showing this?
Yeah. Because it didn't help. Like, that's the thing. But
right. Okay. So you're like, you're just spooking us.
Yeah.
Is that what you're feeling? Okay. If you aren't privy, because a lot of our listeners are younger, but I watched it in real time. I think it was 1988, And Greg Louganis he was my first gay crush, but I didn't know he was gay.
Right.
Like,
very handsome.
So dreamy, just like dark and great. Just a cute as heck. And I'm 9 and I'm just like, who is that? And he's just this amazing diver who dove wrong. I don't understand how that happens, but he dove.
I think it just bad timing didn't jump out far enough, because that was always the thing that
they were probably trying to emphasize this to you, Sarah.
Yep, because I can remember the dives after that, like an inward back dive and like back tuck, and I was just like,
I can't believe you did any of this. It's scary as heck.
So scary, because you're jumping out and then towards the board again. And that, I think, is... I can't... It freaks me the fuck out now.
Yes. Okay. Because if you were young and you have not seen it, or you forgot or whatever, he dove and then hit the back of his head off of the diving board that he had just sprung from, and then went down into the pool. And you know how that is. They play it a million times, and you're just like horrified every single time. Oh, yeah. And what I did not know until I watched this 30 for 30 is I knew he had come out as gay, but I did not know that he had AIDS at that time, or HIV positive. I had no idea.
And that it was like the blood in the water, and there was a whole thing about that.
Yeah, but it was a secret. Nobody knew that he was HIV positive except his coach. Not one person in the world besides his doctor and his coach knew that he was HIV positive. And so when he hit that head on that board and there is a gash and there is blood, he had to make a choice whether to tell, and he didn't. And I am fascinated by this ethical problem, because he said, if I told, I would be deported right there.
Right.
It would end my career. Right. It would end my Olympic journey.
Right.
And
now we have more knowledge about, and I mean, this is why I guess people wear like protective gear, who are handling it, like any sort of medics or anything would have gloves or.
But even like the person treating him at the Olympics was not told that he was HIV positive, like the doctors and stuff that were stitching him.
Yeah.
And like
that's why
in this 30 for 30,
stuff. I think they all assume. I think when you get in that world, you just assume that there are bloodborne pathogens and you wear protective stuff. Wouldn't you? Like, I mean, I think about my brother and like his work as a firefighter and like fire paramedic, and how like just all the time have it on, because you never know when somebody's going to like spit on you, or like he has a whole bunch of stuff happen to him. But
yeah, I was absolutely fascinated, because that is a real tough choice to make. And it all worked out and everything's fine and he's still alive and whatever. I don't know how he got access to whatever drugs he was taking. He said he had to take them every 4 hours, including throughout the night. Like he had an alarm set that he had to take these drugs that would like help him, and he was able to survive. But people that I've read about from way later, like for instance, this the baseball player, he died in 1995 from AIDS. So it's like, who got those drugs and who didn't? I don't know, but it was totally fascinating to me. And like the fact that gay athletes had to make these choices that straight athletes did not have to make, about like, who do I tell what to? It's awful. I really sympathize.
Yeah.
I'll tell you what is good for your health, and that is Ritual Vitamins, Sarah.
Shout out to Ritual Vitamins.
Shout out to them. They have the multivitamin that we take, which tastes like mint and is not harsh, and so you don't get sick like most vitamins. And they have the Hyacera, which is amazing for skin.
I take both.
We take both.
I'm scared to know what my skin in the winter would look like without that stuff. Because
it is scary.
Yeah. And my brother's girlfriend is taking the Ritual prenatals because we've got a
little
baby
puppy,
on the way.
Baby on board. They have something for everybody, whatever stage of life you're in. And the Hyacera is clinically proven to reduce wrinkles and fine lines, which is the stage of life I happen to be in. Anyway, start Hyacera to help minimize wrinkles without compromising on clean science. Hyacera from Ritual is a clinically proven skin supplement you can actually trust. Get 25% off your first month for a limited time at ritual.com/braincandy. Start Ritual or add Hyacera to your subscription today. That's ritual.com/braincandy for 25% off. Yeah, those two 30 for 30 shorts were really fascinating, and
they should call them athletic shorts because that would be cute.
That would be. Yes, Sarah. Good one. Good one. Okay. Moving on.
Don't you love how Susie just always entertains me with that stuff?
Oh, that's
guys?
a good one.
Isn't that cute? She's always like laughs.
I'm not humoring you.
You're just the best. I know. You're just a cute. It's just. I mean that.
Thank you.
With all sincerity.
We cheer each other on.
It's the best.
We enable each other.
Yeah.
Okay, so every so often the New Yorker will do like a retrospective where they will promote on social media like an article that's like 10, 20 years old. You know?
Yeah.
I like love those. And they probably because all this Wicked promotion that like you cannot escape.
Yeah. Oh my God, I was going to ask you about this. Are you if you are a Wicked
It's
fan?
like everywhere. Everyone is like wicked crazy, man.
Right.
Probably because of that, they on social media promoted this article from I don't even know when, long time ago, from the son of the Cowardly Lion.
Oh,
from The Wizard of Oz.
Interesting.
Yeah, it was maybe my favorite New Yorker article ever.
I tell me everything. Okay.
It was so good, Sarah. And it was like one of those things where you, like, I'll be making my notes for this show and then I'll be putting like quotes and stuff. And it's like every other line. I'm like, I cannot, what do I do?
Yeah,
Just do a dramatic reading of this article?
Right. I've been there. Oh.
And maybe, you know, it's like just what resonated with me or whatever. But, so Bert Lahr played the Cowardly Lion, and this was written by John, his son. And it was fascinating because he was trying to describe what it was like to have a dad who, on camera, had just this amazing gift of comedy and levity, which you can definitely see in the Cowardly Lion. Just such a hoot. And like, he did such a great job with the character.
Yes.
But off camera had a real morose and sullen demeanor. And it wasn't like he was a mean dad or anything. He was just sort of like not there and not present and not engaging. And so he's trying to describe what that would be like. And he did a masterful job. He was describing how the last time he watched the film in its entirety was in 1962 with the family, his mom and dad and his sister. And that he was about 20 at the time. And he had seen it as a child, of course, but they were rewatching it in this attempt to like mine his dad for like, they were trying to like pull stuff out of him.
Yeah.
It sounded like.
Yeah.
And so they would put on his various stuff, his work, to try to be like, hey, tell us a story about this. And like, he really wouldn't take the bait. And he described him as the friendly absence who answered to the name Dad.
Oof.
And he said that the popularity of the film didn't mean as much to his dad as it did to everyone else. And one thing that I felt like you and I could relate to is that he was saying how his dad had been sort of over time taught like what are the beats that people want to hear about his experience on the film.
Yeah, absolutely.
So like this
what
happens
is this
to Sarah
person
and I.
like? What is that? What's your favorite? Is this person really like this? And it's usually people around that. Like it's not about them directly. It'll be about the other people, and it can feel dismissive and like
yeah.
You're only there to
you are meant to like maintain the idea.
Yes. Yeah.
That someone already
this
has.
Other thing. Right. Not, yeah. And it just takes away from who you are.
People ask us the same stuff all the time. So it'll be like, do you still talk to those people? You know, was that fun? That people always say, was that fun to me?
They always ask me, did Johnny really take all your money? Like that didn't happen. Like, yeah.
Wow. Yeah, I guess they don't know what to say, and that's what springs to mind. And then you have these rote answers that you then spit back. And so, you know, there were 6 or 7 of those that he would do. And like, then they would read these articles about him and about how he could like tease laughter from a crowd and like, but yet he couldn't brighten the day of his own family and how difficult that is. I related to this because in a way that's kind of how I see my own dad. He was like the funniest guy you'd ever meet, gregarious, so charming, but like at home was more tired and like sort of downtrodden and wasn't that engaging.
I had a therapist who referred to this as tap dancing through life, where you are on stage and performing for everybody else, and then it's like curtains close and it's the tap dancing shoes come off and you're not that.
Well, because you can't do it all the time.
You can't do it.
It's not possible.
It's not possible.
Yeah.
And so you have to
so
either give less to strangers.
Right.
And that for them feels like death. Feels like that's how they've survived. That's how they survived.
Yeah.
And so you don't want to sacrifice the thing that brings you all the good and all of the positive. It's very hard to find balance in that way.
Even animals say that to me, like, why can't you be at home the way you are, like, at a party?
I get the same thing.
I mean, mommy's tired.
Right. I explain this to everybody I date.
I just go quiet. I just get very quiet at home.
Yes. There's Sarah from the show, and then there's regular Sarah. And she does not talk as much. And she is very quiet. And then people every time go, what's wrong? I'm like, there's nothing wrong. I just am not doing this. Like,
Yeah. Right. And so I relate to it as a person, and I related to it because my dad was very similar. And then, like, he was describing when they would talk to him at home, he didn't even always answer. Sometimes he even forgot their names.
Okay. Well, that's on another level.
Well, and he's saying, like, now he would have been diagnosed with bipolar or something and would have been probably medicated.
And I could imagine his father's upbringing, the Cowardly Lion's upbringing, was...
That's what he said. He had a terrible childhood.
Terrible child. Because he has absolutely no model for showing love to kids, but he does know how to show it to a crowd because that's been modeled 1,000 times.
Well, that's entertainment.
Right. It's entertainment. Yeah. But that's not... He does. That's exactly it.
Yeah. But what made it exceptional was we all know this type of person, and most of us have someone in our life that's like this. But to actually have somebody so eloquently describe it, and it's on such a big scale, like they are the Cowardly Lion,
right?
They
and everybody
are this
can
icon.
Hear the voice, can see that, like it really is. Yeah, an icon.
Yeah. And then, so then when they're huge outside and in your house, they're so small and like quiet, the contrast is enormous. And the author described it as a bittersweet comedy of self-absorption. And that one of the most efficient ways they had to deal with it was by treating their dad as a metaphor, like almost like a work of art that you had to just sort of enjoy as much as possible, but it was never going to engage back to you. And then
Ooh.
this quote I loved. It said, "The lion had words for what was going on inside him," like the character of the Cowardly Lion. "He asked for help and got it.
Yeah.
And at home, there were no words or even tears, just the thick fog of some ontological anxiety, which seemed to have settled permanently around Dad and was palpable, impenetrable. It lifted only occasionally for a few brilliant moments."
Oof. Heavy.
I mean, heavy and intense.
Wow. I can see this son being very successful and doing because he needed approval and
maybe like an outlet.
Yeah, I could see him doing, one of two ways. It either is you're going to, with a parent like that, you're either going to do everything you can to try to just get them to look up for once and recognize you or give you any sort of little bit of
Crumbs.
something. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then, or you're going to, go the other way and say, fuck it, nobody's looking, so I'm just going to get in all the trouble I can. But,
yeah.
Right.
And I chose the former.
Right.
But it's a beautiful article. And if any of this is resonating, you should read it because it's called The Lion in Me by John Lahr, whatever. And
wait, what is his last name?
Lahr, Bert Lahr.
How do you spell that?
I think it's Lahr.
Oh, I thought a lion's den, the lair. I was get the fuck out. His last name is Lair, a lion.
I think so. I
isn't
think
that what
we
you
can
call
count
where a lion
it.
live?
Yeah.
I would. What?
I know. I hear you. Right. It all just seems very poetic.
That's interesting.
It was really good. Okay. I'll tell you what else is good, and that is Lola V hair care products.
I am watching the morning show right now, which has Jen Aniston on it.
Oh, yeah.
And Reese Witherspoon.
Yes.
And
two of our favorites.
I know. I am just looking at the shine of her hair. She does have such great hair. I'm this is the exact person. She has consistently had amazing hair for decades.
Yeah.
And now I can too.
No, we can too. And their product line keeps growing and growing. I hear whispers of a dog shampoo.
Oh, it's already out.
Is it out?
Yes.
Oh my God. What a hoot.
And I bet it
it
smells so good.
Makes me want to just get a dog for that reason.
Just get one.
Their
I bet it'll
stuff
work on
is
cats.
great. They have proper stuff, naturally derived peptide bond builder, B Pro 3 bond technology that's in their products.
And not all things that say that they do that are created equal, because some actually are reparative and other ones just coat it and ingredients frickin' matter.
Yeah, they matter.
They really, really do.
Yes, you have to be an educated consumer, or you could just take our word for it, and you should, because they have an amazing deal. Unlock Jennifer Aniston approved hair at lolav.com and celebrate the holidays with stronger, healthier hair. As our loyal listeners, you'll get an exclusive 15% off your entire order when you use code BRAIN15 at checkout. That's 15% off your order at LOLAVIE.com with promo code BRAIN15. Please note you can only use one promo code per order and discounts can't be combined. After you purchase, they'll ask you where you heard about them. Please support our show. Tell them we sent you. Your hair will thank you.
Yes.
Okay.
I'm going to buy the mega size.
Yeah. Bulk it up, baby.
Yeah, add to cart.
To cart.
Oh, such a good deal. Okay, great.
Okay. I don't know. I have some debates.
Oh, I love a debate.
Okay. There was this guy in England who was recently jailed, and his crime was that he created this fire stick thingy that you could use to watch Premier League soccer.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Without buying whatever subscription that you would normally need. And he got 3 years in jail for this crime. And
oh my God.
first of all, let's just say that's all the story is. Do you think that is fair?
No.
I think that's outrageous.
Outrageous. I always compare everything to how long do, like, sex offenders and people who have done anything like that get.
Brock Turner.
Right.
We're looking at you.
That is not fair. That is too long for somebody who's just trying to watch a soccer game.
Bootleg soccer.
Come on. Come on. Who cares?
All right.
I honestly, I don't give a fuck about this. People who do that kind of stuff.
Because the article was talking about it, under the umbrella of copyright infringement, which,
right.
Like, and even like sharing of passwords would be of like that, which is me and you do all the time.
Lock me up. There are listeners right now who have my passwords to things who are on. Yeah.
And
you know who you
mine.
are. You know who you are listening because.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't care. And I'm like, yeah, this is fine. These are my friends. I don't
All right.
give a fuck.
So.
And I was such an illegal streamer, like
oh my God.
downloaded illegal, like Napster, all that shit. I had LimeWire. I downloaded everything.
How come you don't feel guilty about it?
I don't know, because I feel like, and my parents were both in the industry, so it feels like we would get those, because my mom and dad were both members of the Academy, and so they send you all of the films that are up for review that are in like the category that you are in. So we would get all these DVDs that would come way before the film even came out that would say like copyright, do not duplicate, da da da. And I would always be like, here you go, watch this. Like hand it out. Like I'm not duplicating them or selling them, but I'm just like, it's not going to hurt your bottom line. Like, nobody's making less money because I let my friend watch this. Nobody made less money because I downloaded a couple Britney Spears songs on LimeWire. Like, get the fuck out of here. I'm sorry.
Okay. So the thing that I think made their jail time so crazy is I think the problem was that the Premier League kept telling him to stop. And he didn't.
Like, fuck off.
And like, I don't understand how that happens. Like, did the police show up at his door? Was he getting letters? I would need to know how he was informed that he was like on thin ice.
Yeah. We are watching you. Like.
Right. Because like, first of all, how did they know? And then what was the warning?
Right. Hey, bud, cut that out. Stop it.
And also, do you not have better
trouble,
things
mister.
to do?
Right. That is what I'm saying.
What is happening?
What are we doing here?
Okay.
What are we doing? Let the man watch some fucking soccer. Who cares?
Okay, but he was selling it.
Oh, well.
On Facebook.
You can't sell it.
Okay, that's where you draw the line.
Well, I mean.
Like, he can't turn a profit. Is that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I don't think he should go to jail. Maybe pay a fine or something.
Right, pay a fine.
Good grief, 3 years?
He should just pay, right. He just, like, pay the cost of a year of Premier League membership or whatever. Like, access.
All right, I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah, I don't like that shit.
Okay.
I do not like people stealing like I will not support
intellectual property.
Yeah, like the what is that terrible like Sheen or whatever that steals so much shit. I will not.
I don't know how there's
buy
still
from that
operating that company
because there's so many it's insane.
Stop buying that stuff, you people.
Stop it right now. You will feel very good, and you'll feel like very, what's the word? Sanctimonious?
Right, that's what I get.
Yeah.
That's how I get.
I know, that's how I get when I don't, when I'm like, yeah, like, look at how.
Right. Okay. So there was also a 30 for 30 short that literally no one else would like except me.
I don't believe that.
Okay, well, I hope other people would like it. The 30 for 30 short was about the tennis technology called Hawkeye that is used to determine whether a ball has landed in or out.
This is the exact stuff I like and am into.
Yeah. Okay. We're kindreds.
Yes.
Okay.
That the kind of making refs obsolete. They're really just like there for show these days.
Good point, Sarah. I said to Adam, I said, why in the hell do we even have these line umpires or whatever they're called? And then that asshole that sits up on the chair that's like all high and mighty about everything and like fights with Serena Williams.
Right. And then just like scolds people if they are you know.
Oh, yeah. And they like make sure you have to be polite about it. Yes.
Yeah, fuck all the way off.
Fuck off.
Yeah.
I've had it.
Had it.
Decorum is overrated.
And come on, sports are way more fun without it. Everybody knows it. Just ask the Philadelphia Eagles.
Why?
Aren't they the ones that they have to grease the poles in? I think it's the Eagles.
What poles?
They have what city? I think it is. Who is it? There's some football team where they have to grease the light posts because they will climb them. Everybody in the city will climb them.
Great. That's
and
great.
Just, it's like the best sports fact that like
that is the best.
And it's
they're
like
just oiling up the whole city.
Philadelphia Eagles. Yeah.
Yeah. Philly is wild.
The city was forced to grease its lampposts ahead of the NFC Championship game in the Super Bowl 52 Super Bowl 52 5 years ago. So now they do it because people just they use hydraulic fuel and they just make sure because they'll go crazy and the fans will be climbing poles and everything. So, yeah, I don't even know how I got here, but
that's all right. I love it. I love that fact. Okay.
Oh, no decorum, being crazy. Yes. I remember.
Decorum's dumb. Okay. Yeah. What drew me into the documentary was it began with the history of the photo finish.
Oh, okay. Cool.
It was so cool.
Was that first in a horse race?
Yes. So,
cool.
1890.
Wow, that's longer than I thought.
Those darn horses. I mean, they're always really close to each other.
Yeah.
And it looks like 1-1, but then, like, if you get a picture of it, sometimes they have the nose, whatever. And so they wanted to. This technology for the photo finish came from this guy who had a bet. And I love a bet.
Yes, you do. It's in your genes.
His bet was whether or not a horse ever has all four of his legs suspended in air when it's galloping. And before a slow motion or a photo, we know that they do. But like before we've seen slow motion or like photos, it's hard to tell.
Right.
And so they wanted to determine the answer to this bet. So this photographer set up a series of, let's say, 15 tripwires connected to cameras. And then they made the horse run through it, gallop through it. And so the camera's taking pictures on each one. And then they were able to see, like, in this frame, all four hooves are off the ground. And then they thought, wait a minute, we could use this in these sort of contested horse races to determine who wins. And then they gave an example of an actual photo finish where it looked like this one horse had won. But then they zoomed in on the photo. This is the craziest thing I've ever heard. This other horse had a saliva stream.
Get out.
That went beyond the finish line, and they had to give it to that horse because they had not established whether saliva.
Whoa! But now that wouldn't count, right? Now it's the actual body of the horse.
They didn't say that.
Dude, that's wild. So I would imagine this is where the phrase win by a nose came from.
Yeah, for sure. And so this horse's spit.
If you're running spit.
Won the race.
Finish line.
Okay. So they're setting it up, this documentary about the tennis technology, as an extension or an evolution of the photo finish. And they have all these computer algorithms and tests and whatever to see where the ball's going at what speed. And it's all just like math, whatever.
Yeah.
But in the end, I feel like the point of the documentary was just that there are limits no matter what. That where a ball ends and where the ground begins or the line begins or where it ends is dependent upon how many pixels you have to zoom in on.
Jeez.
And that it's like millimeters and whatever's smaller than a millimeter. And that like you can never truly know. And it became about like philosophically.
Like, come on, let's like, there has to be at a certain point. It's in or it's out. Just make a decision here.
I know. But that's sort of what it was saying is that like there is none.
I don't like that. I don't like that. It does not sit well with me.
Why?
It is because it feels
it's
like
unsettling.
Yes, it is. And it's like
so you like to imagine
at a
that there is
of
truth with a capital T. Like there is an in and there is an out, period.
With something like this, yes. With a ball and a line. With something that is like it's binary, like yes or no. Like this is it's not. I feel like what's the gray area?
But it's infinite.
I hate that. I know what you mean. And it's like, then we could play the game of, is anything really touching anything? And I don't like to play that game because the answer is no, it's not. And we just have to accept that this is how it is in this physical world. Because we, like, come on.
It's basically forcing us to confront the fluidity.
Yes.
Of truth, accuracy, and your opinion.
Oh.
And your answer.
I think this, in a way, is why baseball keeps refs and why they do have the final call. And they make it like that there's...
Like, let's just make it about eyeballs.
Yes. Because they're like, we got to... I mean...
That's right, Sarah. Where are you going to draw the line?
Where are you going to draw the line? And we're keeping with the... nature of the game. Like they're like the baseball is like, it's just part of baseball, whatever the ump says, you know, like
yeah, I kind of like that too.
And I feel like I know we started like shitting on those line refs in the chairs.
They're real annoying,
but they are.
I'll tell you what's not annoying.
What?
And that is when I take the mellow magnesium from Ned.
Yes.
And then sleep like a freaking baby.
When you are somebody who's using your muscles like I am on days where I'm out there riding those mountains, I need the recovery.
Yeah. That's the thing.
Rest.
They have so many different kinds. So you might want to focus or you might want to sleep or you might want that recovery.
Yep.
And you can get a magnesium that supports that. Magnesium has been the unsung hero of like all sorts of bodily functions.
Absolutely. It is at the root of so much, and a lot of us have a deficiency and imbalance.
Remember how we always used to joke about how like certain companies or things or people need like better PR?
Yeah.
Magnesium needed it until recently.
Absolutely.
Now everybody's starting to realize.
They're like, oh yeah, actually this is important. Probably because we were all getting better night's sleep when we're taking it, and now we're telling our friends just like we are right now.
Well,
and
what's
it's not all created equal.
No, and that's what I love about Ned and Mello is they share all of their third-party lab reports, and so you can see for yourself, like this is tested by people that are not connected to the company and demonstrate their efficacy, and I love that. And they have over 5,000 five-star reviews, and I will add mine to it. Become the best version of yourself and get 15% off Ned products with code BRAINCANDY. Go to helloned.com/braincandy or enter code BRAINCANDY at checkout. That's HELLONED.com/braincandy to get 15% off. If you forget our codes, please go to thebraincandypodcast.com. We have the candy code section of our website. every time you use a code, it helps us. And like, we can't stop now. So like every time you support us, it keeps us on the air.
Yeah, just go there before you do Christmas shopping and just like
do it.
Use our codes and then get Christmas presents for people.
You're welcome.
Yes.
But like there was this example that they gave in the tennis documentary of a call that was made against Serena Williams. Mm-hmm. And everybody during the broadcast, and if you watched it now, knows she got screwed. That like that ball was in against her opponent and that they fucked up. The ref fucked up.
Yeah.
And she fought. You know how she's very vocal on that?
Yes, I would be too. Oh my God. Yeah.
But that when you're a black woman,
right,
that can be seen as, you know, whatever, negative. But she was right. Guys. And it's infuriating. And that's when you think like, okay, we do need a technology that isn't biased.
Right. Well, how come they didn't use it then? Or there?
It must have been before this was instituted.
Probably. Yeah.
Because once they started instituting it, it became that. So first they have the line ref.
Right.
The line ref says in or out. And then the player has to challenge it. Right? It's all this rigmarole.
Right.
Then they have that idiot on the chair.
Yeah.
That says whether they agree or disagree with the initial call.
Right.
But then it goes to the
box.
People in the sky.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that is the Hawkeye technology.
Yes.
And that is the final say in tennis.
Yeah.
And they said in this documentary that the Hawkeye knows immediately. It already knows whether it's in or out.
Right.
But they delay sharing it to create suspense.
That would drive me fucking crazy.
Infuriating.
That.
And that's when I knew, like, you could get rid of all this other stuff.
Yeah. Tennis pretends that they are so
civilized,
and for the game. It's for we need. Oh, you have to wear all white. We can't have the shoes with fuck all the way. Play on this court, that court, whatever. And then they're just like everybody else. And at at the end of the day, what you really care about is viewers and eyes. And which is
money.
Really just advertisers and money. Yeah. Right. So like stop pretending. Come on.
This isn't about civility or like how to behave or whatever. It's just about money.
Or else you would
like
just do it.
Else.
Actually, it's this right away. And then we would just continue with the game.
Yeah. So it was fascinating to me because it did raise all these philosophical questions about like what's true and what's not, what's real and what's not, what's in and what's out.
Yeah.
And it makes you have the sort of mental debate, like what's the right answer? Maybe it should be like baseball where it's like, it's flawed, but that's how we're doing it.
Right. You have to draw the line somewhere. Yes. Like you said.
Well, because at least there's an acknowledgement that like it is flawed. We know humans are flawed, but like we imagine the technology is somehow above that.
Right.
When it can be flawed too, because guess who makes it? Humans.
Right. Guess who programs it?
Yes, there's math in it, but there's also sort of like...
Right.
So anyway, it was great.
I love all that stuff. Really interesting.
Thanks,
tennis has some fascinating stories.
Tennis is weird, man.
It's so weird. I feel like there's a story around scoring that we've talked about in here. There's something about the tennis ball and David Attenborough being connected.
The color,
I can't remember the color of the ball on TV or something like that. So many cool stories with tennis.
Yeah. And probably because it clings so tightly to tradition.
Yes.
Yeah. And so then it becomes ripe for like weirdness.
Yes. Interesting.
You know? Okay.
Good story.
Let's do one more. What are you in the mood for?
What you got?
Well, I did, just before we came on the air, I did read about this. It's not funny. Hold on. Let me recalibrate. Just before we came on the air, I did read about this kayaker who got trapped between two rocks. And they had to amputate his leg.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
And a couple things struck me about it.
Yeah.
First of all, this was in Tasmania.
Okay.
And when I say that, like, okay, this kayaker got trapped between two rocks. What do you imagine happened?
I imagine that he was coming down the river and that he got caught in one of those, what do they call them? It's like when the water will just keep churning you over and over. You get like basically caught at like the bottom of this little like waterfall thing, and you get caught in this like death roll situation where you're upside down, and then maybe he got stuck underneath a rock. Like,
yeah, that's what I felt.
Yeah.
I read the whole article.
Okay.
And I'm going to tell you what I read, which is that he gets stuck between these rocks. His smartwatch is able to alert the authorities. He's in a very remote area.
Yeah.
He has friends there, but they need help, and his smartwatch alerted them. They come in, and they begin rescue efforts. It's very complicated. 20 hours he's stuck there. 20 hours, because, like, he is freaking stuck, and there's all this water, like you're describing. Like, the way that he's situated, it makes it very difficult.
That's terrifying. Okay.
I'm like, holy heck. And then they had to make this life or death decision because he cannot sustain the temperature and just sort of the water pressure for that long. So they have to amputate him there.
Yeah.
Because his leg is stuck.
Right.
Right?
Oh, my God. Oh, my God. Oh, my God.
Horrible,
oh my
horrible,
God.
horrible. Then the pretty much last sentence of this article was like, by the way, they had stopped kayaking and were just hanging out on shore, and he slipped and fell in between these rocks. That is not a kayaking accident.
That's not a kayaker. You don't word it like that. You say outdoor adventurist trapped under rocks during whatever on a kayaking
trip.
Yes, kayak
that is
trip.
Different.
Totally different. Because in my mind, I'm like, well, I'm fucking never going kayaking. But now I'm like, oh, great, good. I can still go kayaking.
I was like, what are we talking about?
This is shenanigans.
Shenanigans.
Yes. And you know what? If they shenan once, they'll shenan again.
I bet he rues the day he shenaned.
Right.
Yeah, because he slipped and fell, got stuck in these darn rocks, and then they had to cut off his leg. And that sucks. But that's not because of kayaking.
Yeah, there's more to the story.
What the heck?
I was watching, there's some, I can't remember the name of it. It's on Netflix. There's a documentary that's about kayakers who go to very remote places and extreme places. And I watch a lot of like extreme sports documentaries, like the ski movies and the rock climbing films, all that kind of stuff. I have never heard a group that had more deaths than the kayakers.
No.
I was shocked. They, like, during the filming, like, they lost, like, 4 dudes. Like, it was crazy, the stories of dead. Like, it was crazy how many people died. Like, when they were telling the stories of, like, one guy lost his brother, and they gotta
stop it.
That's what I said, Suze. I'm like, I don't know about...
What are you doing?
What
is the point of this?
It feels almost like... Because I don't know. There's just, I don't know if it's a lack of preparation. I don't know if it's a unpredictable terrain and that because you really can't.
Like
water
the circumstances
changes so much. You know, it's not like a rock wall. Like you climb El Capitan, that beta, that does not change. That is the same information that you get.
This is always like weather dependent.
Yes. And so I think that maybe it just comes with...
Knock it off.
Knock it the fuck off. What? I'm going to find out what that kayaking movie is called because it's really good. You should watch it.
I was just looking at your, you know how you said you now see, because we are basically like that guy that got arrested sharing a Prime Video account. And I was looking at your watch history.
Yeah, what was on there?
Snowboarding and like just extreme sports.
Yeah,
and
like this stuff.
It's funny because you had said like how mine is like that too, but not extreme sports, but like sporting stuff. Right. And it's just so funny to me. Like we're like the same but different.
Totally. Okay, so the film is called The River Runner. And it is about an expedition kayaker named Scott Lindgren. And his quest was to paddle to the 4 rivers that originate from Tibet's Mount Kailash. And yeah, it was like a 20-year journey that it's really interesting, but so many fucking people died in this story that he tells to go like in that 20-year span, and I'm like, this does not feel good. Anyways,
I'll say,
well,
anyway, this was a BBC article, and I'm saying if any of you work for the BBC, can you let them know that they sort of need to reframe the story because let's not throw kayakers under the bus. Let's throw shenaniganers.
Yes.
Or like people who aren't steady on their feet.
Right. He just slipped. He was like probably not wearing good river shoes.
Yeah, he just had bad soles or something.
Right. Yeah.
Anywho.
Good stories.
Thanks, Sarah. And thank you all for listening. 870 episodes. Wow.
Still going strong.
Still going strong. We're just getting started, people. We love you. We couldn't do it without you. Thank you for supporting us. And we'll see you next time.
Bye.
Bye.